Back to ShopDog-Garage. I think we're going to go ahead and work on the power steering pump that's been needed to be done all winter. So he got one ordered. We went through all the trouble ordering exactly what we wanted, and they still sent just the generic thing. So you just can't get what you want anymore. We really wanted the original teardrop style, to the point where I even climbed up, risked imminent death up there, and dug out the one from the Impala. But honestly, I think if we used that, we would be in the same boat next year. So unfortunately, that's the way that goes.
You know what else he said online? These are metric too.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was the only option.
Huh.
Not really. Metric. Okay.
Well, we'll find out. Well, actually, well, as long as the bolt holes aren't metric. If they are, well, oh, look at that. They came with new hardware.
That one right there.
Yeah, no, as long as that is still inverted flare.
Yeah, see if
and
we
it looks
remember
like it
that
is.
in 3 years when we have to get in there and, hey, how come the SAE stuff in there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, why? Why would they do that to us? Anyway, it has been a while. We actually took all this apart like a month ago, but between my work and travel, and they had something to do, and I believe that Pixie had a trip to Mexico, and there's a lot going on. Yeah, this is what we wanted. That's what they sent. Because functionally they're the same, but aesthetically they're not. The other thing we went ahead and did is Kevin was complaining that sometimes if you're in traffic and the fans are on and the air conditioning's running, that he was getting the little beepy beep warnings about the battery on the Dakota dash because it was sagging. So I went ahead while I was doing my death climb, and this is their original. Obviously I stole the pulley from it, but I had a 152 amp alternator that was on the Impala at one point. So went ahead, reclocked it, which I've shown before, but it's not that hard. You know, just pull 4 bolts, take it off, pop the brushes back in, I usually use a drill bit because who owns paper clips anymore? But throw that in there, reclock it. So now we've got it so that this plug here is facing towards the passenger side. This is up high, which is where they were before. And because that was a one wire, went ahead and built a new little harness to use this remote. I mean, we're cheating. We're still only doing it 2 inches away, but it'll work fine. Pretty common thing. But yeah, that was a one wire.
Nope.
So the beauty of the one wire is it's real easy to install. The downside of the one wire is you do have to rev the motor up to get it to excite the field winding. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're kind of brushing up on what we're doing. We got to remember how on earth this comes apart. But there's a reason we left it on a lift, because now we can pick it up, stand under it, and crack those lines.
I brought shop manuals.
We're going to start with the obvious, and we're going to go ahead and drain what's left in this reservoir. I doubt there's much, but if I recall, the leak line was like right here, so there's probably some. So we'll take this little guy, dip it down in there, and pull some out, and then we'll pick up the car, yank the feed line, and let it keep dripping. Okay, he's just checking, looking for any drips and leaks. Looks like we actually got the tranny sealed for once.
Yeah.
That was what, our third attempt?
Yeah. Yeah, it took a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little glisten here on the oil pan, but we also know that, you know, it's an old motor. So, I'm gonna reach up there, gonna loosen that. We're gonna take our strategic drain pan, place it under it, and just kind of let that line bleed for a while. Looking at him, I think he's 11/16, so I'll be right back. Alright, so we got both lines pulled and letting them drip. We had to cut a squeeze clamp off the return. We're going to change that and put a worm clamp on that for the future. So now it's just time to, let's see, we're going to have to break that bolt and probably that bolt. And I know that there's at least one up above because this is a weird system, not like a Chevy at all. And then we'll drop the car and take the last bolt out, and hopefully that just slides right up. Okay, Diesel is out. He's going to clean up that bracket, and pump is out. Yeah, this is the crazy bracket for $389. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take this over, take the air, boom, pop that thing off. And then a lot of times, because it's the keyway, I don't need the tool to pull them. But if we do, we have it. I'll show it if I have to. And you can see we cut something here, and I don't remember why. Well, no, that's not us cut it. Somebody cut something there. Okay, so that popped off right quick and easy, so no big deal there. I'm going to transfer these two over to the new pump with metric screws, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do here. There's a solution. Thanks, Napa. So, you see where this is pointing? Straight into our inner fender. See where it's supposed to be pointing? That's why we ordered this pump. Yeah, no, it's functionally the same thing. It will not fit. There's no chance in hell we're using this. So, once again, aftermarket garbage. You know, what do you do? But thanks, Napa, for trying to know better than we do. As you can see, Diesel and Pixie are finally back. It has been a month. It has been a long month. I've been traveling a lot for my actual job. We're still mad at Napa, but our good friends at Lares, by way of Ames, have sent us what we hope is the correct pump. So, you know, one of the things we're worried about is this return line. So you can see, we have a return line, we have the stud. That actually looks pretty good, because remember on the Impala it was way over here, so maybe we could have made it work. But I'm going to wander over here and see the old pump. Look at that. It's correct.
It looks the same.
So, once again, Ames coming through. Not for free, but they do come through. And honestly, since he's never been up there, I think he's going to see if he can just go up to Lara's up in Cambridge. It's only 35 minutes from here.
You know, ironically, this was the same price as the one from Napa. They're about $100 or something, plus or minus.
But, yeah, so we're finally doing it. We're finally going to get there. They want us to flush the lines, and honestly, we were going to do that anyway. So we're not replacing them because the pump failed. So I guess technically we wouldn't have to. There's no debris in the gear, but you saw that oil that came out. We're going to flush all of that. It looked kind of gross. So let's get back to work. Let's get this car running again. As just another point of happiness, unlike every other aftermarket one we saw, you know, rebuilt from Napa or O'Reilly's or Summit or anything, this one still allows us to keep our SAE hardware, and that makes us very happy. So I don't have to scramble around looking for silly metric bolts. So yeah, at this point we're pretty happy with Ames so far. As you just don't get a day this gorgeous very often. We got a door open, enjoying the weather. I just moved the wire wheel out because I'm going to clean some bolt heads. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous out. So what I'm probably going to do is close this pass-through, keep the moisture out of this room. And as he cleans them, I'll keep dropping bolts where they go. We'll get this bracket built up and we'll get the pulley back on. And Diesel just asked a question, and I said, oh, we should explain that. So when we were tightening this down, I just kept applying pressure until it's seated, and then I gave it just a little torque to tighten it. And then he asked, well, how do you know how far in and out you're going? Well, what you're doing is there's a register right here on the shaft, and the back of the pulley has a register point right here. So when it seats, it is in line. Now these old pumps are called keyway pumps. So if someone says it's a Saginaw keyway, there's a key and there's a groove cut in the pump for it to slide down. All of your newer things are what they call press fit. So like this one happens to be a press fit. Notice no key. It is actually friction fit down, and there's tools for that, for getting it on and off. In fact, the tools for taking them off also sometimes still have to be done on the keyway, but you don't need them to put them on. On the keyway, you can just turn it on with, in the car with your hands and a wrench. But these, there's a tool similar to a crank tool that threads into the pump, and then a mandrel pushes down as you tighten a bolt. So that's important to note. but you can't overseat them. They have to go all the way down. In fact, on this style, they go down until they're flush. You'll see when you look at a press fit, it'll be flush. I don't remember what we got in the Impala. Yeah, the Impala is a press fit. So you see it's flush right here. So, yeah, that's just some things to think about. So this one's a keyway pump. You know, you can't see it, but it's got a flat belt pulley on it, but no big deal. Yeah, so that was a question I was literally just asked. Almost every car, you need about 19 freaking hands to get everything to line up all at once. But pump's going to look really nice in its new home. And that, Pixie's been kind of sorting this out. So I think in a little bit she's going to show us a short. But before you do, what are you trying to solve?
So, problem is that when we're running down the road, you can see light
And water.
and water through this seal right here. So the plan is to utilize this particular piece of rubberized trim. We're gonna fit it in from here to here. I've done it on the other side. I cannot see any light through there now. And so the hope is that when the door closes, that seals everything up. No water, no light.
That's the hope. For better or for worse, we now have all of this back in. Hopefully we don't have any trouble here. The return line we had to extend up because otherwise it spilled everywhere, an entire freaking body's worth. And we have the actual return line going down into a bucket for now because we probably should flush these lines. So what we're going to do is hope the car doesn't start and just kind of start turning it over, and then we'll see what happens. There's probably going to be some yelling and some screaming. I bet there's a mess. We'll be right back. That actually went pretty smooth. We bled that down right quick, got it all cleaned out. It only took 2 quarts. So we just put the return line on the pump, filled her up. We lost a little bit of fluid. You can see it down in the pan down there. He's going to kick it on. We're going to find out if the alternator's happy, and we're going to let the power steering kind of bleed down a little bit. All right, we've started it a few times. We think our level is pretty close. We completely forgot that this wasn't a one-wire voltage regulator, even though we had added the feedback. We didn't have an exciter, so we went ahead and ran that all the way back to the ignition point on the fuse box. You know, they give you a couple points, and we did put a diode in. So somewhere around here I had a bunch of stuff, and there's some diodes. Give me a minute and let me find them. Okay, yeah, we grabbed one of these 560s here, so this should be a 1N560 or something along that line, and should work perfect. So yeah, they were already put away, and it's nice protected. It's in a good location. Should work really well. You got to either use a light bulb, you know, to get the coil, or a diode. Just otherwise, that field, once everything's up to speed, could back charge and run the car, and you literally don't want that, especially on that little wire. Okay, so let's start her back up and listen for squeaks. And we're expecting a little bit of smoke just because, you know, we cleaned up as best we could, but we did spill power steering fluid. So as that warms up, I'm expecting that manifold to smoke a little bit. So don't be surprised by that. And let's check our, yep, alternator's at 13 like it should be. Everything looks perfect. I'm cleaning up. They took that out for a test ride, and I just heard the car. I hear something going katunka katunka. I bet he hears it too. Alright. Oh, he's still bleeding out air, it sounds like. Not bad. So He must have heard a little air in the pump. Okay. Gotta bring him in. Come on in. Come on. And a little more, a little more, a little more. And good. All right. Let's hear what he's got to say. How did your window frame thing work?
Quiet.
Oh, so that's a good thing.
That was a good thing.
How did everything else work?
It was good. We zipped over to neighbor Jeff's mom's house, and yeah, it ran fine. We'll check power steering fluid levels, and it should be good.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear any squeakies when you did that.
It was good.
So, okay, great.
Started just fine. Drove just fine. So,
All right. It has been a month and a half and an entire winter of the old pump, which is right here, leaking out of the reservoir itself. But we finally have it not leaking out of the reservoir anymore. Yeah, it was right here that it was leaking on the old
Right on
one,
that
but that
seam.
is brand new and nice.
right
That might even be new. Now, there's a little spillage that we got to clean up because we're slightly over full, but that'll self-correct. So anyway, look at that. We finally got something done in the shop. I was here on the same weekend you guys were.
it seems like it's been forever.
So with that, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Thanks for watching.